Let's start this discussion right now. The topic again is tool optimization. What's the difference between an effective security stack and an efficient security stack?
To me, it's about the trade-offs of what is the cost. You can optimize for efficiency, you can optimize for effectiveness, or you strike a balance in the middle.
I love it when I speak to a group of CISOs and we talk about something basic like IT asset management, and everyone kind of rolls their eyes and goes, yeah, we know, and we move on really quickly.
I personally believe the Modern Attack Framework is probably the most influential framework that's been developed in our generation of cybersecurity professional.
I think the biggest thing to remember when we talk about hacking tool optimization is that it's so cool in the industry to be the hacker, right? It always has been. We've glorified it. I don't see any t-shirts with "I'm the patcher" written on them, right? And I think, you know, we need to glorify that.
I have a good question that came in from Ian Pointer. How do you manage the tendency to buy the coolest tools and post-rationalize their usefulness?
This is why I think Attack is such an important framework for us today, because they were going to do what they've always done. Go buy the new shiny thing. And now there's a new and better way to think through what your functional requirements should be.
The last 4 or 5 years, I've got some incredible value out of meeting my existing vendors, not necessarily buying new things, but meeting my existing vendors. I learn what they're doing. I learn what the capabilities really are, and working with those vendors to make sure that we're extracting the most value out of those tools.
What are the sort of different levels of optimization we should be looking at?
I'm a fan of frameworks, right? But I think you want to start with the basics always, right? So something like CIS is a great framework. And look, it doesn't matter what maturity of organization you are, it will do you well to circle back to those.
Optimization is where you have a mature enough of a program and ability to measure that you can actually start turning screws and start making trade-offs.
Why don't we stop trying to buy security controls and actually invest in the people that solve stuff?
I got a good question that came in from Matt Thompson. How do other organizations handle the competing priorities of getting your team to training to better use the tools you have instead of focusing time on reviewing and implementing tools?
I think you have to examine the tool before you buy it, right? You truly have to give the vendor a hard time and understand what it takes, not just to buy it, but then you've got the cost on top of that.
What are you buying the tool for? Define what are the specific behaviors I want this tool to protect me from. And now technology exists in the attack simulation space that allows you to exercise that so you know if the thing works or not. So you can create continuous validation to make sure the thing that is working, and the team gets constant training on that.
We're at halftime of this, and you know what that means, guys. We are now at the Department of Yes. Require at least one marketing person in every product pitch. They will evaluate the product from a marketing standpoint, and their assessment gets double the weight of everyone else. Okay, go with it.
I truly believe that what we never do in security is learn enough from other departments. We try and reinvent because we think we're special. So what we should do is bring the marketing person in, because they will be able to see through what is just true marketing spin, and it will cut through all that crap.
Buy all your security tools from whichever company the CEO's spouse has heard of. Chris, why is that an excellent idea?
If the CEO's spouse has heard of this product, that means it's a big enough a deal that you should probably be worried about it. And they are certainly positioned as a company as the capability to be able to help you.
Hey, Ian Pointer asks a very good question. Is it better to fit the tool to the team or the team to the tools?
If you are selecting between tools where the difference is minimal, right? For example, a particular set of tools and the differences in technology are minimal, then 100% go with the one that the team knows.
And by the way, let me just echo Eric Block said in the chat room, you tailor the capabilities to the team. The name of the tool should be secondary. So he's always about team first, as long as it fits the bill.
Well, I guess first and foremost, like we talked about it in those, back to those functional requirements, does the tool work? My team prefers this tool. Will it work? Will it meet the need? That greases it right into the wheelhouse.
You've got to think about the organization and what optimization means for you. One of the first things I say to any new CISO is go speak to the CFO and find out what your budget is. Right? The amount of CISOs that don't have that conversation up front with the board or the CFO just blows my mind. If you know what that finite amount of money is, you know where you can direct your resources, and you know where you can start and how mature you can become. and how optimized you become with your security program.
This comes from Philip Bayer. Do you use a framework to identify overlap of tools? Is it a significant level of effort to do that? Is it worth it to do that? And that's a good question.
Absolutely. Like this is the core, that to me, that is the core of optimization. You have to understand the needs of the business.
Right.
And those are critical inputs.
If you can show you're working out as a CISO in a security function that displays how you've got to the answers you had, most of the time you'll still retain that budget. So actually, it allows you then to increase your security maturity in the right ways rather than overlapping tools.
I just think that like as you take this threat-informed concept and take advantage of that and start transforming your processes and policies around using that information as a way to drive this decision making in a better way, you can take the subjectivity out of a lot of these decisions, at least in a more informing sense.
No, I think when you think about tool optimization and rationalization, take a step back as CISOs, right? Stop continually looking for what's next and glance inward. Take accountability for the tool set that you've got now.
All right, I'm squeezing one more bad idea. Use the number spinner from the game of life. Wherever it lands, that's the right tool.
Well, you waste less time, right, trying to choose a solution that ultimately you might as well just roll a dice.
The birth of the purple team is, I think, a real thing in terms of changing the testing community and how we actually secure environments. I think it's like a meaningful shift to the organization.
I think it's an important time for CISOs to look inwardly, to test their controls, to use the time that we've got now to better their existing programs and look for ways of doing that. Focus on the basics.
Thank you, everybody.